Three, two, one.
There we are.
Yeah. Hello and yes.
Yes.
We're live again.
Again. Surprisingly. Well, maybe not.
Yeah.
But tonight is a little bit of a different pace.
Yeah. You know, when I was a kid in my elementary school, one of my co-students, what do you call them? Is that what you call them?
Yeah, I guess.
Like co-worker?
Classmate?
Classmate. So one of my
Co-student.
Hello, co-student. I filed a formal complaint against you.
Yeah.
No, so one of my classmates, their dad was a truck driver, and he brought his big rig by one time, let all the kids kind of...
What do they call that?
I think the big rig.
Bring your work to dad day or something stupid like that.
Yeah, bring your work to dad. Your dad, you do this. Sorry, son.
Oh, man.
I'm not here.
Yeah. I don't know. All right. So, yeah, we're playing Euro Truck. And you might have noticed that by seeing the truck. And you might wonder why.
Yeah. So why Euro Truck? Well, first of all,
UT's dead. Otherwise, we'd probably play that. Second of well, maybe not. Because then there would be no conversation.
yeah. Yeah. Well, I think that's the primary reason. It's like so we can converse.
Well, the
and
server,
talk
the primary server that I play on is back up.
Okay.
So there is that.
Oh, okay.
Well,
But
it was
just
up.
so you can play and we can chat
Yeah, and this is more of a
properly.
right. Like I can't play Rocket League. Well, I can't play it well, and I can't play it while streaming. Fact.
Yeah.
Well, I could, but then there, whatever. Anyway, the reason we're playing this.
It's so I can tell you about my time in kindergarten.
No, it was elementary school.
Yeah, so kindergarten's part of elementary.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
But all right, it's the downward spiral.
Yeah.
You're taking a break from Rocket League. Why?
Gosh. I'm
gonna start driving.
So like, yeah, go ahead.
It's raining.
So let's rewind the clock back about a week. You know, I was on the top of my game. Everything's going well. You know, it's the opposite of
It's very.
I don't know.
I wish people could hear the music we're listening to because it's
I
almost
know.
appropriate, right?
Yeah.
It's sad.
It's we're listening to just some chill hop you can get on YouTube. It's great stuff.
It's free.
Yeah.
A lot of things are free. But anyway.
Yeah, but anyway, so whenever you play a game for a long enough time, usually regardless of how good you are at it, you end up
You always
kind
have
of
some sort of. Everyone has a
stuck
bad
in
day.
a rut. Yeah, or have a bad day. Well, this
Or a
has
bad
been,
week.
Yeah, this has been more than a bad day.
Right.
It's been a bad week.
Yep.
So where are we driving to?
I believe we're in Oslo now, and we're going to somewhere in Poland. I believe. I don't even know what I'm towing.
Do you have anything attached?
I do. I started a job. I kind of wanted to start. So it's plumbing. It's 40,000 pounds of plumbing supplies.
Dank plumbing.
Yeah. No, we're going to
Gdank.
Gdansk. That's not what it's called. That's where we're.
How do you say that?
This way.
Gangst?
Gangs. I don't know. I think it's Polish.
Oh.
I think it's Polish. But yeah, that's where we're going. We have plumbing supplies. This is the first job. We'll probably finish this job.
Right.
Oh, crap. I don't remember. Okay, there we go. Yeah, we'll probably finish this job before the end of the stream, that's for sure. Because
Oh, so it's like a short run.
It's a short run. I used to have very long jobs, but I corrupted that game save.
Oh.
So I just started fresh.
It's like screwing up your resume.
Yeah, kind of. and it's kind of okay because I made a mistake in this game anyway, where I took a ridiculous loan to get my truck instead of just saving up, which is what I did this game.
Mm-hmm.
So now I have the truck I want. And this is something that bothers me about this game. And actually, most modern racing/driving games. I don't understand what the point of having to level up to apply a certain piece of equipment. Like, oh,
You really have to do that in this
yeah,
game?
so you can't get the most powerful engine.
So can you start out at least with windshield wipers?
Yeah,
Is
no.
that something-
But what I mean, so you see my truck. It has built-in sat nav. And,
Yeah.
You know, it looks nice.
Mhm.
Well, I wouldn't ordinarily be able to get this until I'm like level 30 in the game. I'm only level 2.
Is that because there's no real sense of progression and they have to
I
like
guess-
artificially insert it in
I
there?
guess that's how they insert progression into the game.
Uh,
Wow, I'm really shaky. Look at this.
yeesh.
So, it's because it's steering sensitive. Because I don't have a big wheel.
You have a racing wheel.
Yeah, I have a racing wheel attached to a 80,000 pound truck. But anyway, yeah, I think that's so they can have some sort of sense of progression in the game. But I personally am like, if I have $150,000 for this truck,
Right.
I should be able to buy the truck I want.
Yeah.
If I grind it from level 1 to level 2 and somehow made $150,000,
Right.
I should be able to buy the truck I want. Like old school Gran Turismo let you do that.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think the old school games let you do that. Maybe some of the Need for Speed required you to be a certain class level
Yeah.
or something before you could. Well, no. Okay, wait.
Wait,
So
hold on.
in Gran Turismo, didn't you have to have like a level license in order to buy
This is
certain
not a-
vehicles?
No, you had to have a certain license to be able to
I was
race.
getting my wallet out. I thought
Getting
surreal.
No, you have to be a certain level to. You have to have a license to enter certain races, but that
Mhm.
doesn't stop you from going out and buying like the fastest car.
Ah,
Yeah, not at all. So, you know.
okay.
Yeah. But
Okay,
yeah,
so you can own the car, but you just can't use it in.
you can't use it in certain races. You can go to an open class race and enter all day. Well, keep in mind the last time I played Gran Turismo was Gran Turismo 2.
2003.
Yeah, and ever since then I just kind of got bored with the series
Yeah,
because
it hasn't really changed much.
it's lost to me. It's lost a sense of progression.
Mm-hmm.
Because like Gran Turismo 2 was like, to me, that was like the pinnacle. Gran Turismo 3 was okay,
Mm-hmm.
but Gran Turismo 2 was, you go out, you have a 10,000 credits, and that's your budget.
Right.
So you have to pick a car. It could be any car. You could buy a used car, you could buy a new car.
Drag it in, pull it in, push it in.
Yeah. You could literally pick any car. And that to me was cool. Like you could literally waste days
Right.
just searching the used cars. And then you'd end up with like a CRX or a Daihatsu or
Yeah, the one
And
thing
then-
I remember about Gran Turismo is like when you change your oil, you get 10 horsepower
or
out of
3
it.
horsepower or something stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the point is you started out from the bottom. Whereas like if you went out and bought Forza Motorsport 7 now,
Mhm.
they're like, what car do you want? And you can literally go out and pick a McLaren as your first car.
Oh, what?
Yeah. And you don't even pay for it. They just give it to you. And to me, I like that Gran Turismo simulation, or the old school Gran Turismo simulation.
Right.
The physics were terrible, but it gave you the sense of being like a grassroots racer. You know,
Right.
you go out and you buy a $5,000 car, you fix it up, and you
Win
go
a couple
race.
races.
Yeah,
So
and-
you get more money out of it.
Conversion to highway now. So, yeah. That to me was progression, and it was enjoyable. It was a
Mhm.
really fun game.
Right.
I played it for probably a couple hundred hours.
Man.
Like I played a lot of Gran Turismo, and I had all the licenses, but I never got like close to fully completing the game. I just
Mhm.
had fun with it because it was more sandbox. You could do what you want.
Well, you see, I guess the problem I had was that I went to Blockbuster for games when I was a kid, and I rented Gran Turismo.
You can't rent it. It's one of the-
Dude, man, like renting that game was just it made you hate it because you couldn't get anywhere in the 3 day, so I can afford the 3 day rental.
Yeah.
The 3 day rental that you had it for.
No.
Even if I think even if you had the 7 day rental, you're probably pushing yourself way back as
Yeah.
far as progression goes.
So you have to look at that series. Maybe not now, but back then you had to look. It was like an RPG.
right.
It was literally an RPG,
Are
like
you in the
racing
cash
game.
only lane?
No, I'm an Express Pass.
Oh, okay.
Or Auto Pass. E-Pass, whatever
Yeah.
people call it. So,
It's got
look at
the
that.
little
12,
light. Man,
12,
$12.
12 euros.
So like $12.
What are you doing, Volvo? Yeah, well, no. 12 euros is probably closer to what?
$12? No, I'm just kidding. I think it's probably like 14.
It's like 14 bucks.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, look, we're coming up to Sweden now.
Oh, cool. Dankst.
Thanks. Is that Denmark? No.
I have no idea.
Well, that's the interesting part of playing this game. As you know, we don't know where we're at.
Like, do you think if you played this enough and you were, going on not a road trip, you can't road trip from the U.S.
I turned
to
up
there.
No.
But do you think it's possible that you arrive in Sweden and you hop in a car, you can kind of figure your way around?
No. I mean, directionally, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know if I'm in Oslo and I want to go to Trondheim in Norway, I know I have to go north.
Right.
And actually, the E6, I think it's the E6, is the highway you take there.
Yeah.
So I would know. Stay north on the E6, and I could probably get there.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of the countries, I can't speak for because I'm not familiar enough with them. My wipers need to be faster. I can't see.
Turn it to rabbit.
Does it have that?
It's probably on turtle.
No, you could look. You could actually physically see the switch.
Oh yeah,
move.
that's cool. Oh, it moved. Oh, look at that. That's
Yeah,
so cool.
It actually emulates that. Too
Yeah.
bad you now.
If only they'd put the detail in the world.
Yeah, right. Well, this is like what is it? DirectX 9.
Oh, I guess it's kind of trying to appeal to a lot. No, okay. So you're saying it's kind of older,
Yeah,
a bit of an older game at this point.
2013, I believe it came
Yeah.
out. Yeah.
Surprise! Where's 3? You know, where's the texture
They
pack
just
updates
keep-
and all that stuff?
They keep adding to this game.
Oh.
And allegedly, DirectX 11 support is, or DirectX 11 is in the works. So they say.
Where you get ray tracing and stuff.
No. I'm surprised that's a supported technology in DirectX 12.
Oh,
Because typically something like that comes along.
they hold it over till the to the next big jump, right?
Yeah, yeah. Which is unusual. I would expect that to come along with a new API, graphics API or something, you know?
I don't know. I think with computer manufacturing, either their R&D department is getting lazier, or the jumps are just getting smaller.
I think the jumps are getting smaller.
You know, it's one of those two
I do.
things.
Because I went from, like, I remember as when I was younger,
Right.
I'd buy, you know, I had a GeForce 2, and I went out and I bought a GeForce 6600 GT
Mhm.
AGP card,
Right.
and it was such a huge upgrade. Like, it felt like incredible. Like, I could play Battlefield 2 like maxed. Well, maybe not maxed, but it was playable, whereas before it wasn't. And I don't know, I'm sure people still experience that today,
Right.
and maybe it's because as I've gotten older, I have kept buying progressively better hardware. So, like, I used to buy the 60 series of NVIDIA products, right? So, like
Mhm,
GTX 1060 or something, right? And so my previous car was a 970.
Right.
So instead of getting a 1070 this year, I bought a 1080 Ti, which is technically a big leap, right? But it doesn't feel as big.
I think there's something to that there. You know, I grew up during a time where we started with 2D graphics, and the small jumps in 2D graphics were like the stuff in the background would be able to move
Yeah.
relative to the stuff in the foreground.
Right.
You know, something like simple animation within the game.
Yeah.
But so I was never a computer gamer growing up, at least not
I
a
was.
PC gamer.
Yeah,
let's say
I've
that.
always been
Was never politically correct.
PC gamer or PC.
Yeah, personal computer gaming. I never did that. But so I started with the Mr. Game & Watch, and then I had the NES for a short time, and then I had the Sega, and then the SNES. Kind of one relative had one, and I had the other type of thing.
Right.
I distinctly remember the jump
Whoa.
from 2D to 3D.
Truck just freaked out.
Yeah, I saw that. Just kind of like automatic braking or something.
It did. The transmission retarder kicked on.
Yeah, I remember the distinct jump from 2D to 3D, and it was
Well,
incredible.
I remember playing games on Sega Genesis, right? And then seeing a PlayStation game come out.
Right.
And like reading, like, I don't know if it was Game Informer then. I can't remember what the magazines were called. Because back then people actually read paper. But seeing like previews of Gran Turismo is one of those games.
Mm-hmm.
What was that? Seeing previews of that.
Hold on.
What are you doing? What's going on?
I'm not doing anything. Oh, wait, hold on.
Oh, you're gonna get a copyright strike.
Just for the
I wonder how
nostalgia.
clear. I wonder how clear that came out.
Oh, hopefully.
Hopefully clear. But yeah, so I remember playing Sega, and then seeing like previews of PlayStation games.
Mm-hmm.
And PlayStation was like first like
Polygonal.
real. Well, I guess N64 was too, but ooh, what is up with the brakes on this vehicle?
Going crazy, man.
I think the calibration is jacked. What is Roadworks really?
I know. You think with the digital environment they
I
could
would-
fix this stuff pretty quick?
I know, right? I dealt with this
That's the
in real
texture
life.
pack upgrade they haven't fixed yet.
Well, they actually have random events around the map.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So you will actually get stuck in traffic because there's an accident.
Mm.
So that's kind of cool. But what was I saying? Sega. Oh, yeah.
Sega!
So N64 came out with 3D graphics, but it wasn't like simulation type 3D graphics. It was
Uh-huh.
just, hey, here's like Rush, which is, not. It's not. They're not trying to make it look like real life. Whereas when PlayStation came out, I felt like it was. Like when Tomb Raider came out.
Or Tekken, or Virtua Fighter.
Yeah, all these games, the people were like, they
Polygonal.
tried their best to make them look like real people.
Yeah.
So that made it interesting. That was them pushing the boundaries. Whereas like N64, I mean, you had Mario 64, right?
Right.
And even today, some people hate on Nintendo now, like, oh, you guys, the Switch isn't a powerful console.
Yeah,
Like,
they always. I
but
think.
Nintendo, that's not their focus.
Right.
That's never been their focus, and I think that shows now. Like,
Mhm.
when you played N64, you didn't care much about the graphics. Like, yeah, it was cool, it was an open 3D world or whatever.
Right.
But I don't know. I never had the desire to be like, man, I wish Mario looked like a real person.
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
It's not like you went into first person to look around and admire the world around
No.
you.
I suppose we're going. No, we're not. Oh crap! See, this is what?
Uh-oh.
Come on, dude. Okay, whatever. You're getting cut off. See what happened?
Yeah. Those of you prepping for your license tests, ignore this part of the
Hey, I use my signals.
program.
I use my signals.
Yeah, I
So
think
there is that.
I think that there
Look.
was a drastic change, and I just don't think
The
it's
sign. Look at. Oh.
what.
I feel like I was going to tip over.
Oh.
Those signs
Right.
are the same colors as the Swedish flag.
Oh.
And we're in Sweden. I wonder if that's really a thing.
Possibly.
Too bad we don't
It'd
have
be
any Swedish.
Swede.
Well, over there it's like what?
Deutsch.
11 o'clock.
Yeah.
Anyway, what were you saying?
Yeah. So, well, I think that what I'm saying, basically, what I'm saying is that I don't think the drastic changes that we see in graphical power and even interface happens anymore. I think the biggest thing we've had in the past maybe 8 years has been virtual reality, and even that's not done to a point where
It's not done very well.
Well, I don't think we have the medium to do it, because the
Right.
only way to really get into it is have one of those treadmills you can run on, and first of all, nobody wants to exercise, so
Yeah.
there's a barrier to entry right there, and then second of all, the setup cost is where you run into a problem.
Yep.
So I think that perhaps a reintroduction to arcades with a focus on virtual reality might be in our future.
Possibly. Yeah. I guess. There are people who have phobias of wearing other VR headsets, but I'm sure they'll find like VR headsets that other people have worn, right? But I guess if you go to a venue,
You'll just need something like that toilet seat thing that
Yeah,
you get
yeah.
that you get at the
Yeah.
gas station.
yeah, I know what you're talking about. But yeah, I imagine someone will do that or find
your
some way
face.
to mount it to where it's not physically touching your face.
Oh, so it's kind of sitting over you, and it has like that
Yeah, like if you've ever used PlayStation VR,
like a welder's glass.
yeah, PlayStation VR kind of does that,
Mm-hmm.
where it sits more on your head than it does on your face.
Right.
Whereas Oculus Rift is very much, it leans on your face. I'm sure, I don't know, I've never tried HTC Vive, but I hear it's really heavy, so I imagine it's much the same like an Oculus Rift.
Mm-hmm.
But
Well, the focus,
VR needs to be refined.
yeah, the focus in refining it recently, because in the past few years, it's simply been a test product.
Pretty
They're
much.
testing the market, and the market likes it, but developers have to work so much harder to produce
So,
a piece of content that works for that.
right, and here's the thing. So games like this work in VR.
Right.
But here's the problem, and this is just this game. But it's DirectX 9,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not very well optimized. So, despite having the graphics card I own,
Right.
it runs like crap in VR.
So like I was saying, there's a barrier to entry.
Right.
No one has taken the product and say, well, here's what it would look like if it was easy.
Right.
You know,
Well,
here's the
but here's the
console
thing.
version of it.
Here's the thing. A lot of the products that are out there that say,
Mhm.
"Oh yeah, you can use your Oculus Rift or Vive with our product, our
Right.
game." The problem is that the games were never made intentionally for VR, so they've been adapted to accept VR.
Even though they were built with the limitation of you looking at a screen.
Right, so they don't work perfectly well, right? So I will say, though, I do enjoy this game much more in VR. I just wish it ran better. Because you're more immersed. Right? Like, I could literally look around as if I was in the truck. I could stick my head out the window as if I was driving the truck.
Right. Just like truck drivers do.
Yeah. I mean, it just... So the immersion is there. Right. So if you're someone into simulation, like Assetto Corsa or other racing games run great in VR, probably because their teams have spent more time implementing it.
Look at this guy speeding.
Well, it's 80 and I'm doing 50.
Oh, okay.
I'm in a truck, right?
Oh, yeah.
Going dirt slow. And I also don't want to floor it because I'm only getting 2 miles per gallon right now.
You got to manage gas.
Well, I don't have to manage it, but we're not in a rush.
Oh, yeah.
This is a shorter journey.
Yep.
But here's the thing. So going back to the downward spiral.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
We've gone way off topic, which has been fine. We'll probably return to that anyway. But if I've had a bad couple games.
Right. So
right?
Let's say you're playing a competitive game.
Yeah, which I don't know how this could ever be competitive. But if you were playing an actual competitive game, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Rocket League, Unreal, Counter-Strike. Counter-Strike's free, by the way, now.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah.
Any esport, let's say.
Any esport. Play Dota, whatever.
LOL.
Don't play Heroes of the Storm. You can't do it anymore.
Oh.
So, well, that's not true. But anyway.
It's amazing. You know, that's one of the tough things with esports is that so many things come in and fall out of fashion very quickly.
Yeah. Well, and there's also the ones that stand the test of time.
Right.
Like Counter-Strike.
That's true.
You know, even when they came out with a new version of it, it still feels like...
Yeah. It's the same basic premise.
Yeah, it's still... I mean, I'm sure it feels different than whatever the original version. It was like 1.1 or I forget. But to me, playing Source and then playing Global Offensive, it feels similar.
Mm-hmm.
It just looks slightly better.
Right.
And actually, I didn't think the game looked that much better until I went back and played Source. It's funny enough.
We saw the differences.
Yes.
It's probably mostly world texture differences.
I feel like it's like higher polygon.
Okay.
And better textures. Yeah.
There's no reason to rework the whole game when it works just fine.
I mean, and if you think about it, like StarCraft and Brood War are two different games, right? They're totally separate, and the reception originally wasn't very high because people are like, it doesn't feel like Brood War. Well, of course it's not going to. It's different. It's more refined. It's easier, quote unquote, to play. So you got the hardcore fan base always yelling the loudest, right? But that's neither here nor there. Anyway, so you're playing a competitive game,
and you have a streak of just awful games, or let's call it regression. And regression is something where you hit a point where you're not stalling, you're actually beginning to go the other way. You're going down, a downward spiral as it were, as it feels at first. You know, first it's your teammates, or you're getting sloppy.
Right.
Then it's everything just goes to crap and gets awful.
Right.
What do? You
take a break. Oh my goodness. I need to turn this off.
Speaking of breaks.
I need to turn these brakes off because, dude, it's like I'm getting whiplash. I mean, thankfully I'm not. What is this?
So you've played semi-competitively before.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what steps do you take during a performance regression? You decided to try to power through and realize that it's only pushing you the other way.
I think it's more of a mental thing, though. I think a break, playing something else, and actually, so here's something I've noticed. So, okay, especially when you can't take a break, right?
Right.
So, let's say every Thursday night at 8, you have comp, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is going back, but you have, because nowadays it's totally different. You can literally queue up and just get into comp.
Yeah.
But you're relying on other people. They're waiting for you in Vent or TeamSpeak or whatever the application you used at the time was. Discord is the popular thing now, which Discord is great. But so let's say you have people relying on you.
Mm-hmm.
You can't take a break for a week, right? You can't just say, "Hey guys, no, I'm going to bounce. I can't handle it." Right? What do? Here's what I've found effective for me. So you play in a first-person shooter, let's say I'm going to use UT. That's what I've always played,
Okay.
right? So I have found that if I go out and play another FPS, maybe one that I'm not really good at, let's say I go and play Overwatch,
Right.
that when I come back to UT, it's like I never left. Yeah, I don't know what it is.
Do you think it is because it's a different FPS, or is it just because you're kind of stepping away from it? Though?
I think it's because you're stepping away.
Okay.
I think that's primarily what it is. I'm going to turn right. I think that's what
Hey,
it
can you
is.
stop at the McDonald's here?
There is McDonald's. I'm not joking.
Oh, no way.
And we are heading towards the center of a city. That's what Centrum means. I know that.
Oh, okay.
So maybe we will see a McDonald's.
Cool.
Depends on what city we're going to. If we're going to Jönköping, which I know has McDonald's there, I'm probably saying that wrong, but whatever. Anyway, but yeah, I have found that if I take a break and do another game,
Right.
I come back feeling stronger.
How long do you usually take?
I may play Overwatch for a day or two or something.
Okay, so
But
just like a day or two?
even if it's and actually this was almost like a warm-up technique for me too.
Mm-hmm.
I'll play another game. Like I used to play Wolfenstein Enemy Territory, right?
Right.
Which was not so much hit scan. You just had like automatic rifles.
Right.
So you had to stay on the target, and it kind of helped me warm up. So that way when I got in UT, my arms and my hands were already in that mode of, okay, instead of just holding left click, I just have to keep aiming and just click left click, right?
Right.
So that kind of helped me out, staying competitive, staying on top.
Well, that's interesting. Yeah, so over the past week, I've been totally regressing. So my big competitive game is Rocket League right now.
Right.
And I've played UT in the past, obviously. But yeah, I've lost a few ranks, and I tried
Are you
to...
still in champ?
No.
Oh, wow.
No, yeah. So I've lost a few ranks. I've tried to double down. I've tried playing a different mode and then coming back, and nothing is working.
Rocket League is tough. There's no game really like it.
Yeah,
So my method won't apply.
No.
Because it's not like you can play Car League or some
right.
other
There's no other
spin-off
physics-based game where
of
you
it.
can do that sort of thing. So I've been giving it some thought. And my ideas toward gaming is very similar to my ideas toward physical training. And the same way, like if you took something simple like the bicep curl,
Right.
right? You can take whatever weight you're comfortable with and do it multiple times. And over time, the stress builds, and you reach a point of temporary muscle failure.
Right.
Trying to continue to push through that only makes it worse.
Right.
Like you're only more likely to continue failing. It's not going to get any better from that, but you're no longer fresh.
Yep.
So my thought right now is, well, let me take 2 to 3 days, and then kind of attack it again and see if perhaps I didn't give my mind enough rest.
Right.
And that's how I'm trying to face regression. Because it is performance regression. Like I went from being really good and my game is sloppy.
Do you think it has anything to do with playing on my PC at gold?
So I thought about that. I also thought, so we talked a lot about specific training.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it's so far away. I thought perhaps that playing Rumble, which was just a different game mode, was taking away from my ability to play threes.
Right.
But no, on the first day of regression, again, you kind of go through the 5 steps of, or 5, what is it, coping strategies of death.
Yeah.
The first one is denial. So I was like, no, it's not me, it's my teammates.
Right.
And then it's not them, I'm just
So-
playing sloppy. I need to take a little break and then come back to it.
Have you watched any of your replays?
I couldn't deal with it.
So that's part of training, right?
So
So how many? Okay.
possibly, but like I'm going to be more forgiving to my replays than somebody else is. And I think that's where...
Well, the only way you're going to continue to gain consistency is if you're actually constructively criticize yourself, right? Or you can.
Well, okay, so I've done that in the past, right?
Right.
And I know where I'm going wrong, and they're very simple mistakes. And I think that's part of regression due to fatigue, due to
Right.
too much playing. And this is
Which
at a
can
time...
happen, yeah.
Yeah, this is at a time... And I think it might be caused by exogenous stress, so stress from outside. So,
Yep.
like,
Oh.
for instance...
How do you say that?
Um,
Limb man?
Diz Diz
Apologize for messing up your name, but appreciate the
DZ
follow.
Slime Mane. You know, that was my that's actually one of my nephew's names.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Slime Man is your
Yeah.
nephew's name?
Of course. It's a classic beloved name of long ago.
Well, we appreciate
It's
the
a
follow.
traditional, you know.
Oh, we're in a city. See if there's a McDonald's around here.
Good. I need to use the bathroom.
No, I took a light. I guess
Ooh.
that's okay, though. I guess in Europe you can take lights.
Ah,
Maybe. I don't know.
yeah.
I don't
So-
see a McDonald's, do you?
No. They probably don't have the license.
No. I have the mod.
Oh, it's a mod.
I want McDonald's.
The
in my
fast
game.
food mod.
Yes.
Okay, so anyway, dealing with aggression, my first idea is that okay, you go through like the 5 steps. So the first day, I lost a couple ranks while I was in champ.
Oh,
that guy's
man.
broke down. Can you help him out?
What you got there?
We got triple
Oh,
A.
it looks like a Renault. That's why
Yeah.
you broke down.
Eh.
French car.
You go through
Anyway.
the 5 steps. Like the first step was denial. Like I was sitting there saying, "Oh, it's my teammates.
The fire truck's gonna come save him.
It's my teammates messing
Sorry.
up."
Sorry.
The second thing you go through is anger. Like you're
Yep.
just
Yeah, and
extremely pissed off at just every little thing. And you know, this is at a time of the year where work has gotten busier.
for most people it has.
And
yeah.
then
It's
that
a
was
point
where I
in
was
time.
like, oh, okay, maybe it's, you know, I'm still in a little bit of that denial. It's okay, it's just work.
Well, yeah, and you could be physically exhausted and mentally exhausted from your job.
It's very difficult to calculate those things, though, other
Well-
than just, you know, perspective tiredness.
Perspective's enough. If you feel tired, you're not going to compete at the same level you would if you're energized and fresh, right?
Hmm.
Excuse me, by the way.
So, do you think that you should play games if you're stressed out? Like if
It's
you're
conditioning. You just got to condition yourself to play in that state. That's it.
I don't know.
And,
Well, I
and
guess
maybe you won't experience the same growth you've had, right? You're going to
Well,
grow
it's not
slower.
growth, it's
no. But what I mean by that is, so let's say you played in the state you're in now
Mhm.
all the time. You probably wouldn't be champ. Maybe you'd only be plat still, right? There's all those things to consider.
so you're saying that like the outside stress that drove me into regression is actually the real state once that stress kind of levels,
Right.
right? Like let's say outside stress is a level 5 and I've been dealing with a level like 1 or 2.
The whole time.
which
is
has
why
allowed me to make progression under no stress. I guess that's like the competitive fear, people that get into esports for the first time.
Yeah, there's
and-
that ladder anxiety, kind
Right.
of comp anxiety that a lot of people get.
Yeah, but so I felt
Which
like
I-
I went through the 5 stages. So I went through denial, went through just blatant anger, then I tried bargaining. So bargaining,
How do you bargain with yourself?
oh, that's always the fun one. So basically I'm playing a lot of 3v3 competition, and then I'm like, well, maybe I just need, if I just play a little Rumble, which is a different version of 3v3 competition, or maybe maybe it's just, okay, I just need 15 minutes of training. That's what I need. If I just do that, then, you know, then I will achieve what I was, you know, before.
Right.
Or maybe it's I'm just too
Okay.
hyped up and I need a little alcohol and I take a little alcohol, it doesn't work.
Right. So I would experience stuff like that in UT. And like I said, UT is easier. Unreal Tournament. We're playing a game that probably people don't know what UT stands for. But Unreal Tournament, I would take a break from, and I would play other FPS.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're still building that skill set. You know, you're still, hand-eye coordination is very critical, and reaction time, and being able to move quickly, or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
You're still practicing the same things, but in a different arena. That's why that's the challenge with Rocket League. You can't. There's no game that emulates
there's
it.
nothing like it.
Like you can't. I mean,
Well, there's its predecessor, but you can only get that on like PlayStation 3.
right. So maybe practice for you is like, I don't know, like if you could play Rush or something, where you're still playing with a controller, right? But it's, or actually,
Well, right now I'm just taking a break. I'm completely off.
yeah, and I think that'll help. I think
You
it
know,
will.
And again, I'm treating it something like how I would treat physical training, where I train every 2 to 3 days.
Right.
And you stress yourself out. You overreach a little bit to allow your body to recover, and then you can lift a heavier weight or more repetitions, whatever it is that, you know, whatever goal you've kind of set for yourself.
Right. I just
but
want to point it out that we've been driving for 30 minutes and still have 400 kilometers left.
in gas?
No.
Oh.
In this trip.
Oh,
Yeah. I thought we would have ended this by now.
No.
I don't know where we're at either.
Well, you're driving slow, and you took a
Well, I'm
wrong
following the
turn.
speed limit.
No.
Well, I mean, it's 80 kilometers. I'm getting back up to 80, but the other area was 70.
Yeah, I was in Canada, and I went 80 miles per hour in an 80-kilometer area.
Oh, did you?
No.
Oh,
I'm just
that would have been
kidding.
bad.
Yeah.
Because you're
I went up there
more-
the first time a little while ago, and I kind of realized that. And one of the rental car we were in auto flipped.
Did it really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, it auto flipped. And then
I wonder how it knew. Did it have built-in
actually
navigation?
no, never mind. It didn't. But it had a radar deal where it would pick up the sign.
Oh.
Yeah. But you can flip. It was a digital speedometer,
Mhm.
so you can go into the menu and kind of switch it over to.
Right. Like
Your-
my old car, you could just press the button and it switches to
Right.
kilometers right away.
Yeah, not European, but yeah, kilometers, metric.
Metric, yeah.
Right, the
Kilometers.
King's Foot. No, that's
This-
Imperial.
No, we use Imperial.
Yeah, the King's Foot.
Yeah, we use Imperial, which nobody. Well, England uses a weird mix, but that's.
I know they have like stones and all this other stuff. So yeah, so I go through bargaining anyway.
Yeah.
So I go through bargaining,
Is there McDonald's here?
and I'm trying to deal with the fact that okay, maybe it's my teammates if I just up my skill. But at this point, I've regressed to a point where my skill should be so much better than my teammates that they shouldn't matter. Right? So
But
that
that's-
leads me into the fourth step.
Oh, I missed my turn.
The fourth step of dealing with death, which is depression.
Right.
And it's like, God dang, I'm looking at where I am, and all you can see is how far you've fallen.
Right.
And it's like, you know exactly how good you can be. It's kind of like a before and after picture of somebody who's trained really hard, except you're the before picture after you've seen yourself at the after. It's like, I was so good just 6 days ago. What happened?
Right.
And then
Well-
18 Big Macs later, what are you going to do with yourself?
We can go to Norfood.
Norfood.
Yeah.
Norf.
I should turn on my turn signal. Oh, he's turning. What are you doing?
It's the nicest Jamaican semi-truck ever.
I don't know. Yellow.
Is that...
Are you?
No, it needs
All right,
some
I'm
red.
going. Forget it.
Oh
you could hit
my
me.
god!
I'm
I'm,
going.
I'm sure that's a little scarier in 3D. I mean,
VR.
VR, yeah.
Yes and no. I don't know. This game doesn't do well in VR for me.
Yeah.
It just doesn't. Oh wow, nice. Well, technically they don't have stop signs there. Everything's a yield sign.
Oh,
So, technically that's not breaking the law. I just still want to hit that guy though.
yeah. So I was going. It's like the 8th day of my descent. I'm
Yep.
dealing with the depression of realizing I'm a total and complete failure, and then you come to the 5th step, acceptance. And that's where I am now. So I was like, okay, let me just take a
but-
complete break.
Just because everyone has a bad game.
It's
Everyone.
not a bad game.
No.
We're
but
talking
everyone-
about successions of hours and hours of play.
No. But that's what I mean. There are. Why do you think in esports?
Why do you think?
Okay, and maybe this doesn't always apply, but why do you think in esports there's always a different champion? Right? So, I don't know much about the whole Rocket League competitive scene.
Mm-hmm.
I know a little. Okay, I know Sizz plays competitively.
Well, okay, so for the past few years, you had Dignitas, who won the championship,
All
and
right.
just recently Cloud9.
Let's just use 1v1. But, okay, so Fairy Peak and
Right.
let's just and I know they're not comparable, but Fairy Peak and Sizz, right?
Sure.
So it's 2018 Grand Champion for duels. Not that even really exists, but anyway.
Well, yeah,
Sizz
you could be a
is-
grand
let's-
champion. duels. You
let's-
mean competition.
Right. So let's say we know Fairy Peak's the better player, but Sizz wins. He's just having a bad week, right? And let's say the course of the game is like an Olympic thing where it goes on for like a
4
month,
years.
right? Goes on for a month or something, right?
Okay.
So every weekend they have a competition, and Sizz is consistently beating him. It doesn't necessarily mean that Sizz is the better player, because historically Fairy Peak is better.
Uh-huh.
He just may have been having some bad games. Whether that's
I guess,
right.
Yeah, well, yeah. That's one way to look at it, but that's a bit of a
Now,
perspective.
a lot of people are going to say, "Oh, well, that means Sizz is the best player in the world now." Yeah, maybe.
Well, that
but
comes-
if you get both of them in a comfortable environment where maybe Fairy, and I'm just saying, I don't know if this is factual. Where do I go? Oh, here. Okay. We don't know the circumstances of that player, right? Maybe he's got something personal in his life that's kind of retracting from his ability.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know that. Now we're taking a ferry.
I thought you should be backing up into that thing, no?
I'm buying my ticket.
Oh.
It's a 10-hour journey from Sweden. Oh, yeah, we are going to Poland.
It's my
So, by the
favorite
way,
of the lands.
And we started
Poland.
here,
Oh, wow.
and we drove all the way through Sweden.
Cool.
So now we're going to that place. Not even going to try that.
America.
That was loud.
No wonder they pay you $14,000. You're like paying all these tolls. You basically end up with like $300 by the time you get there.
You know what's funny is when you are doing when you're paid to just drive someone else's truck,
Yeah.
they cover everything.
Ah,
But when you own the truck, you pay everything.
no kidding.
Yeah.
Huh. I wonder what's better.
I just like having my own
Is
truck.
it still owning your own truck that actually comes out to profit? You know.
Okay,
Higher
so I
profit.
think with this game, you're a driver, but you're also building your company.
Mm-hmm.
So like I can go out and buy another truck and hire another driver,
Ah,
and he can do jobs for me and bring me income. Obviously, I got to pay the guy.
you're kind of like outsourcing your own work.
Well, yeah,
you're starting
it's
a
my
company.
brand. So
Oops.
our company is called DM,
Mm.
right? And we're building our shipping company. So every time we have a bad week, we play this.
Ah,
Well, I'm gonna play it because I do enjoy this game.
that's fine. Yeah, I enjoy watching. It's actually kind of relaxing.
It's
It's kind of like going on a little road trip, you know?
yeah. There's a speed limit for this country.
So here's where I have a problem with your analysis, right? So you analyze things in 1v1, and that is more objective,
Right.
Right. So I play competitively 3v3, which is a team-based competition, and it's highly subjective, meaning that I can easily lay blame on other people,
Right. And you could.
and that's where I started. You know, denial is first saying, okay, well, not where did I go wrong, but okay, everybody else is wrong. Everybody else is screwing this up for me. And it really felt like that.
Right.
The first maybe half dozen games I lost, it was like, why do I keep getting matched up with these awful individuals who seem to have only my worst interest? And it is so much so that like
Whoa, there was an accident.
you have people that messed up a couple times and then they just left the game.
There's an accident.
Yeah, look at that.
And there's a cop right there not doing anything.
Oh, well, that's very normal.
That's realistic. It's pretty good simulation right there. Anyway,
But yeah, so I understand where you're coming from, but I think that in a more subjective stance where you're kind of with people, it's very difficult to take all the ownership of a failure.
yeah, especially.
And that's where that kind of, I started realizing I was going through the 5 steps because I'm trying to bargain. You know,
Right,
we're
right.
losing, but we're down just a point. And it's like, come on, guys, just pick it up. We can do this. It's like, no, we
Do
can't.
you still think there are things you could have done better though?
Well, yeah. Well, there's areas where I was sloppy,
Right.
but as I began to regress,
Oh.
I was achieving lower levels where I should have easily been able to just, kind of destroy the competition, but it just wasn't happening.
Right.
And those were areas where it's like, okay, this is beyond just me being sloppy. I'm playing what I would consider A-level performance.
Right. So you're happy with your performance,
Right.
but your counterparts aren't at your level.
Right, but and then I don't know if I should blame them, so it's kind of this back and forth, and then it's like, okay, well, and then like I said, you go from your anger or denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance, and that's the point where I feel mad, where I'm like, okay, I need to take a couple days away, and kind of just let my brain process all that's happened, so I can come back stronger.
Right.
And that's the idea. To use a physical training application, which is something like the stress recovery or stimulus recovery adaptation model. So the
Right.
stimulus is losing or winning. You recover from that, and the idea is that you can perform better once you re-enter whatever arena you're going into.
Yeah. Rocket League's tough, man. It's tough. It's tough to equate it to where you can do practical training in other games.
No, yeah, there's no carryover.
There's none.
There's no carryover.
I mean, we could be wrong.
I think you're well.
right?
That's where we had the discussion last week about the generalist gamer versus the super specific gamer. You know, the digital athlete versus the esports professional in one field.
Right.
There's
So I think with your break that you're taking, right, you're gonna take your break and you're gonna come back in a
Kit
week.
Kat.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna come back in a week and you're gonna start playing and you're gonna be like, man, I'm still not great.
Oh, I really hope that. I hope you just didn't nocebo me.
No, but here's the thing. Because you're gonna be thinking about it subconsciously. The second you double click that icon to play it, you're gonna be thinking about it. You
Sure.
are. I know you are, because I do.
Right.
Right? So, but here's the thing. You're not in the zone. You're not focused. You're thinking too much about one thing, right? Or you're thinking too much about, will I play at the level I did play at previously? And I have noticed, for me, that I start thinking that, whatever, and I have to tell myself, stop thinking about it, pay attention.
Right.
Right? Play the game. Just play it. Don't think about anything else. Play the game.
So
And when that happens, and I've kind of zone out, and I just play the game, I'm back where I need to be.
So you're talking about just achieving flow within a game.
Yeah,
So
but it's
you're-
also training yourself mentally how to put yourself in that state where you can just focus.
Right. Well, that's flow. Something like where something is challenging enough for you to be engaged, but not so challenging that you're completely aware of your own engagement within it.
I gotta take a light.
You know,
Yeah,
something like an American eating a cheeseburger.
yeah.
This is
Hey,
completely engaging.
we're in G-Danks.
Oh, cool. Good danks.
G-Danks. I don't know how you say that, so I apologize for the Polish folks. I don't know.
To all our Polish fans out there.
Maybe it's one of the two. Who knows?
Yeah.
Or one of the 8.
Yeah, you know, I went to this restaurant. Gosh, what was it
wonder
called?
Polish-
Polka. There's a polka restaurant nearby.
Is there a Polish restaurant?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll go there one day.
Yeah, I don't know what their food tastes like.
It tastes, you know, it would be easier for me to describe if I knew what I was eating.
Yeah.
They have some very interesting dishes, and
We're doing it.
and I enjoyed it. You know? This is like forever yellow light runner.
Well, you know how much effort it's going to take to get this thing back up to 20 miles an hour?
Right.
And how much gas it's going to use? I've managed, well, we'll look at what we've done here. It's trash.
Is that garbage?
Yeah, it was trash on the
Wow.
ground.
Wow. So I went through the 5 steps, right?
Oh, come on, dude, accelerate. Yeah.
So in your experience, you know, how do you deal with chronic stress, whether it's distress, something coming from outside, a negative form of stress? Because, well, there's 2 forms of stress. There's eustress, which is a good stress, right? That's similar to what you're talking about, where you can be in a very engaging environment. That's obviously something you have to work at,
Right.
but it makes you better. Like weight training,
Yeah.
like cooking, like things like that, where
Right.
you have to be engaged in what you're doing. And then there's distress, where it feels like something is just awful and it's making you worse. How do you deal with a chronic form of distress?
Like this.
So, well,
Take a
okay,
break.
I guess you say you completely disengage from
Take
that
a break.
game.
Just walk away.
What if it's coming from outside sources? You said that. You
So
think
walk
it's-
away.
You think it's better to just adapt, though?
If it's going to be a constant, you have to, right?
Mm-hmm.
You just have to. Like, we have jobs, right?
Right.
As young adults growing up, we didn't, and we didn't have to deal with that stress. Man, should I do it? Let's do it.
I wonder if that's why younger people are better at games.
Yeah, they have less things to spend their energy on, right? You go to work and you do your job and you provide a function for your employer.
Right.
That requires energy. You have to spend mental effort to be. I mean, how many places do you go has a training department?
True.
Right?
Yeah.
You go to a job, and if it, especially an entry level position, you get trained. Even if it's a career thing where you're a seasoned automotive technician, they're going to go and show you. They're still going to train you on how we do things here.
Right.
Right? So it doesn't matter what you do, you're going to be trained. So that takes effort, right?
So,
This should be
what did
easy.
you just pick? It just looked like 3 different
Oh.
Cheetos you can decide.
No. So I typically turn that off.
The
What-
Cheeto decision.
The Cheeto decision, right?
It's like, I'm a truck driver.
I guess you could
I need to
say-
pick from some Cheetos.
I guess you could say it's a cheating decision.
Oh.
So basically, you get experience for completing jobs, right? Like I
Right.
said, there's that leveling system where you get better. You get to choose better things as you customize your
okay.
truck. It gives you more XP. So I chose, hey, I could choose no, just take the trailer, you park it, or I could say, hey, if you give me more XP, I park it wherever you want.
Ah,
So
well,
I
you
don't-
know that's a real life thing.
Is it?
Yeah, so I work in a semi warehouse environment, and if a person is delivering materials to me, and if they're if they're not from the company,
Right.
if it's a private dealer like you,
Yes. In this
you
case,
can
Olivia.
charge for how you have to back up. You can charge for liftgate, using your liftgate. You could charge if you have to bring a forklift. You could charge for all those things.
Huh.
So if anything,
That'd
this
be-
is very much simulation-like.
Well, yeah, except for money, I'm getting
Well, yeah. Well,
experience, which I guess
yeah.
is a form of currency.
you're getting exposure
Yeah.
for the real artist in you. Okay, so last question.
Mm-hmm.
What are the psychological factors you think that lead up to rage?
Failure. Right.
Just failure. Yeah.
Oh wow, they're gonna accept that? No, I'm gonna do a better job. I care. I'm gonna do a better job. I know, it sounds like we're landing a jet, right?
I know.
So the I would say failure is one, right? Or fear of failure.
Well, I mean, don't you have those times where it was a complete screw up, but it's just kind of funny and it doesn't
Yeah.
bother you as much.
Yeah, and I think now I play more casually. It's easier to accept loss and just have fun with the game. All right, that's good enough. Just give me my experience. So yeah, I think that's one. I can't think of another. Oh, we did excellent. Did we get any damage? No.
Oh, cool.
We're going up.
Level 4.
Wow, three.
Oh, level 3.
We're like quarter through 3.
Newbie.
Yeah,
That's
right.
funny.
So I think that's one.
Well, so here's how I defined it when I wrote this up. Was that
I got paid good too.
like I think rage starts when you are introduced to a problem to which your existing skill set is unable to solve, even though it feels like it should be able to.
Right. See, this is where they get you. Look at this. Hey, we can give you 500,000 euros. And you think, man,
That's a good deal.
I could start my company off.
Oh, it's a loan.
It's literally a loan, and it
Ah.
has interest.
Gotcha.
So I'm not doing it this game.
Yeah.
We're gonna save money.
We're just
Once we
gonna-
get to
You're gonna let them nickel and dime you.
yeah, once we get to like 99,000 euros, we'll buy another truck, hire a driver.
Cool.
So
Yeah,
that
I
happens.
think rage comes from because rage is usually a short-term thing to try and cope with a problem,
Right.
And it's a problem that has presented itself as a solvable problem that you believe you can solve with your current skill set,
Right.
in which when you engage with that problem, it completely turns you down or
Right.
destroys you or
Right.
proves, it's like trying to open something and the first thing is like, oh, I just need let's take like a jar of pickles or something
Right.
that's tough to open. You're like, oh,
Should I pick another job?
no, I think we'd kind of hitting our stride,
Okay.
So we'll end with this. So it's like you have a tough jar to open. You're like, oh, okay, I'll just grab a towel. I just need a better grip.
Right.
And you kind of frustrate with it. So frustration is the first thing to come in.
Well, and yeah,
You
yeah.
try really hard, and then frustration comes into place.
I think that's failure, right? Because you try really hard and you get frustrated because it's not going the way you want it to go.
Well, I think that happens because let's say it's the same problem that you've experienced before, and you've been able to solve it with that particular skill set.
Right.
So, and then you're like, okay, I know this has happened once before.
Right.
I'll just hit it with a little hammer or something to kind of loosen it up.
Right.
So you do that, and it still won't budge.
Right.
And so now it turns from frustration to something like, this is getting ridiculous. It's kind of an absurd thing to you now.
Right,
Like,
right.
why is this not working the way it should work?
Right.
I can't believe Velasic did this to me. Velasic, right?
Yeah.
And then now you have it's the same problem that you've experienced before, and nothing you're doing is working, right? So you've experienced frustration. and then a certain feeling of absurdity to the problem, and then you're like, okay, well, it just needs a harder hit,
Right.
and you hit it against like the counter, but now something happens that's completely different to the outcome that you wanted. The jar breaks.
Yep.
So you get the desired outcome, but nowhere near the way you wanted it to.
Right. Right.
And that, I believe, is what leads to rage.
Yeah.
Because the next thing to come is just like, this blood-curdling scream of anger
Right.
at Pickles. It's something that's so simple that you've done before, and you just can't get it to function for you.
Right.
But, yeah. So avoid that.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm upgrading the truck.
Oh, cool.
Blacken it out some more.
Sounds like you just threw a bag of quarters at it.
Yeah, I did.
But yeah, so that's our discussion of the downward spiral. Do you have anything you want to add to that?
No, I mean, I think a lot of it revolves just take a break. It doesn't hurt to play Euro Truck every once in a while, You
don't need to put as much hours into the game as you think you do.
Yeah, and I think the key thing is if you find you're not having fun, you're probably not going to be successful. And that's when you need to play something else. Maybe not forever, but just
For a little while.
Right, take a break, refresh yourself. It's just like anything. You get burnt out.
Yeah. Yeah, you're
get burned
dealing
out.
with a jar that won't open.
If you do a repetitive thing over and over enough, you get burnt out. Doesn't matter what it is.
Right?
Everything gets stale, and sometimes you need a change of pace to refresh it.
Yeah. So that's our advice. Switch
Yeah.
it up.
Switch it up.
Switch it
Stop
up.
spiraling. All right, so that's it for
Today. Yeah. Thanks
this week.
for subscribing.
We appreciate the one follower,
Yeah.
Slime Man. I believe. I apologize. I can't say that name.
It's De Platzeman.
Maybe he was Polish. I don't know.
Yeah. No, but we appreciate it. If you have any questions or things you want to discuss, you can reach us at dominantmethod@gmail.com. Method spelled with a 3 instead of an E. Just like
Like in
me.
the early 2000s.
Yeah.
So, and also you can check out our YouTube channel. Please comment on the video.
Yeah,
This
if you
VOD
wanna-
will be posted up there as well.
See our old stuff.
Yeah, our old stuff.
Our old 1 week, 2 week,
Our
3
3-week
week
venture into
old
this.
stuff.
Our
Yeah.
archive of 3 weeks.
Right. So
So,
thanks again.
thanks
and
again, guys.
We'll see you next week.
Take care.